Right friends, welcome back to Learning Space. As I have already mentioned, from next week onwards you will have 3 capsules per week, and let us look at the first one of why and how. Reserve Bank of India has decided to set up an interdisciplinary standing committee on cyber security. Interdisciplinary standing committee. Why it was introduced? It was constituted to strengthen cyber security system. Right? Then third important point is it is established based on the recommendations of expert panel on information technology and cyber security, and that was headed by Meena Hemachandra. Then look at the next one. National Green Tribunal. You may have a doubt, what is NGT? NGT is a statutory body, and this looks at the issues involving, or you can say the issues which affect environment. This National Green Tribunal is a statutory body established for that purpose. It ordered the inspection of all the plants which treat waste in hospitals of national capital. This is known as biomedical waste. Biomedical waste means the waste which is generated subsequent to treatment, diagnosis and immunization. And please look into this picture. This is thrown like this, and actually there are this Biomedical Waste Management and Handling Rules 2016 are available, which looks at proper discarding of biomedical waste, but in our country they are not being followed. Look into the next one. Union government launched Cyber Swachhata Kendra. This Cyber Swachhata Kendra is basically to create a secure cyberspace by detecting botnet infections. I will come to it a little while from now, what is meant by botnet. And before that, don't forget, this Cyber Swachhata Kendra is operated by Computer Emergency Response Team India, or CERT-IN. This Computer Emergency Response Team will act as coordinator for various cyber crimes related activities. And please look into this picture. This is a Cyber Swachhata Kendra inauguration. And now the important aspect is, what is botnet? What is malware? Botnet is nothing but it is the network of private computers infected with malicious software. It is the network of private computers and that is infected with malicious software, and it is controlled as a group without the knowledge of the owner. It is controlled as a group without the knowledge of the owner. And another point is the infected computer is known as a zombie, right? So this is about botnet. It is used to steal data, send spam messages. So this is all about botnet. And what is malware? Malware is nothing but the malicious software which is specifically designed to damage or disrupt or gain unauthorized access to a computer system is malware. So if someone talks about botnet, it is the network of private computers infected with malicious software. Look into the next issue. This is Central Know Your Customer Database. Know Your Customer Database. Last year what the government decided was, there are several financial regulators. I may have one insurance policy. I am required to give KYC. I may have bank account. I am again required to give KYC. I may take some demat account with some bank. I am required to give KYC. I may purchase some mutual fund. I am required to give KYC. What is the need for these many KYCs? Let us unify the data, and the organization which is vested with the power to act as central agency is CERSAI. CERSAI means Central Registry of Securitization, Asset Reconstruction and Security Interest of India. It will act as the nodal authority for ensuring one KYC for each individual, right? So the project is not going on the expected lines. Then genetically modified mosquito. This is into the news. And before understanding it, please look into this. This is a spraying of insecticides. Spraying of insecticide will kill only 30 to 40% of the mosquitoes. Only 30 to 40% of the mosquitoes it will kill. And what is the problem with mosquitoes? Mosquitoes are carrying, or you can say causing diseases like dengue, chikungunya, Zika. These diseases are caused by the female mosquito, Aedes aegypti. That mosquito causes these diseases. Now the technology is RIDL technology. RIDL technology means release of insects carrying dominant lethal genes technology. This is into the news recently because of experiments in Brazil. Here I would like to explain you. Here there are male mosquitoes, female mosquitoes. Female mosquitoes are causing diseases. Now male mosquitoes are genetically modified. As male mosquitoes are genetically modified, the offspring of male and female mosquitoes, will carry one lethal gene. One gene will be carried in the offspring mosquito, and please look into this picture. Before reaching adulthood, at the larva stage itself, that mosquito will die. The offspring, or you can say children in a layman's knowledge. So the children or offspring will die before reaching adulthood. So this is known as GM mosquito trial. Here male mosquitoes are genetically modified, and subsequently the offspring will contain a lethal gene, and that mosquito will die before reaching adulthood. This is a GM mosquito trial which was conducted in Brazil, and it became successful. Right, look into the next issue. This is Israel passed a legislation which would legalize around 4,000 Jews settler homes on private Palestinian lands in West Bank. The contentious issue between Israel and Palestine is becoming further complex. And here the bone of contention is Jerusalem. Jerusalem is claimed by both Israelis and Palestinians, and in fact Israel recently started building more and more settlements not only in West Bank but also in East Jerusalem, and because of this the issue may become quite complex in future. The next one is the proposal in this year's budget to amend section 132 of the Income Tax Act has created controversy. What is this? Amendments to section 132. Here I will tell you. Previously, that means before introduction of this clause, the present status you can say is when income tax is raiding some premises, then they have to record reason to believe that some violations existed. So they have to record why they are raiding that particular person or company. Now amendments were proposed to section 132, and now income tax authorities will get more powers. They need not record, and it may lead to tax terrorism and harassment by tax officials. Look into the next one. A critical anti-profiteering clause in the draft goods and services tax law will ensure that the benefit of lower tax rate for certain commodities will be passed on to the consumers. What do you understand by anti-profiteering clause in GST? I would like to explain. GST, merit tax will be there, then standard rate will be there, demerit tax will be there. Demerit tax may be 28, 30% or 35%. Then standard rate may be around 16-18%. Merit goods may be taxed at 2%, 5%, 10%. And when as per GST, merit goods are taxed at lesser percentage of tax, then the companies have to pass on the benefit to the customer. Customer may not know how much percentage the goods are being taxed. So, a anti-profiteering clause was cleared by the Goods and Services Tax Council or GST Council. So, if someone talks about anti-profiteering clause, basically when tax rate is less, that must be passed on to the consumer. For merit goods, the benefit given by the government to the companies must be passed on to the consumer. So, for that purpose, this anti-profiteering clause is given prominence and it is cleared by Goods and Services Tax Council. Look into the next one. As per US Research Institute study, air pollution in India is killing every year 11 lakh people. Every year 11 lakh people are being killed because of air pollution, and please don't forget around 5 lakh people are being killed because of road accidents. Around 4.5 to 5 lakh people are being killed because of road accidents, and till date because of air pollution the number of deaths are occurring more in China, and from now onwards India will have the dubious record of more number of deaths due to air pollution. This is unfortunate part in our country because the governments are not able to take proper steps to control air pollution. Look into the next one. A malaria vaccine. And please don't forget, Zika vaccine may become a reality by 2018. Lot of research is going on Zika, lot of research is going on. Zika vaccine may become reality by 2018. Now this trials are going on for malaria vaccine. And please don't forget, sometime back we have discussed GlaxoSmithKline. This company developed RTS-S. RTS-S. This is the vaccine developed by GlaxoSmithKline for malaria. And on similar lines, a candidate drug called PFSPZ was recently unveiled by Sanara. So, in future, this vaccine for malaria may become reality. So, before final approval, there are 3 stages, please don't forget. Candidate drug, after that clinical trials, subsequently approval of any drug. This stage you can say candidate drug, that is the stage where various molecules are totally tested for its efficiency for treating particular disease, right? So, that is the stage of candidate drug, that will be followed by clinical trials, that will be followed by approval. This is the process in the total finalization of drugs, or you can say R&D stage of drugs. So, if someone talks about this RTS-S, this is the vaccine developed by GlaxoSmithKline, and on similar lines, this candidate drug was developed by Sanara. The name is PFSPZ. In future, malaria vaccine may also become a reality. DPAM issued guidelines with regard to listing of public sector undertakings. Here, please look into this. These 3 are in the top 10 companies, or you can say top 10 listed companies in market capitalization. In market capitalization, these 3 public sector giants are within top 10 of the country. And now government took a decision that some of the public sector enterprises, and please don't forget, public sector enterprise means owned by government or majority stake owned by government. Private sector enterprises owned by private enterprises or private individuals. So, that is public sector, private sector. Then private limited, public limited. Private limited means when some private individuals or limited persons, it may be government or private, it doesn't matter. When the shareholding or when the ownership is limited to limited people, you and I cannot invest in that. So, when the investment is allowed, or you can say when shareholding is allowed or ownership is allowed only by limited people, that is private limited company, and public limited means public shareholding or shareholding like people like you and me is allowed, that is public limited company. So please understand the difference between public sector, private sector. It talks about ownership by government or not. Private limited, public limited, it talks about whether general public are allowed ownership or not. When general public like you and me are allowed ownership, then it is public limited company, otherwise private limited company, right? So after private limited company becoming public limited company, then listing will be done. Listing in the stock exchanges is only possible for public limited companies, not for private limited companies. And public limited companies, after listing in the stock exchanges, then what will happen? Selling of shares will take place among the individuals. So greater market penetration will take place for those shares, right? So if you look at the recent decision by the government, these 5 general insurance companies, 25% share will be sold to public through listing of shares in stock exchanges, right? Look into the next one. Gene editing came into focus in recent times. Here, recently, South Korea has claimed that gene editing tool may be delivered directly into the eye to treat age-related macular degeneration which causes distorted vision and blind spots. So, gene editing means editing the genetic code of the persons. Genetic code is edited, cut and paste. Remove the unwanted genes, remove the unwanted genetic code, then subsequently patch it up. That is gene editing, and this may be the next medical breakthrough if you look at diseases like cancer, right? So, if someone talks about gene editing, this is basically editing the gene, right? Look into the next one. China is stepping up construction of floating nuclear reactors. Please look into this. This is South China Sea. This is Spratly Islands, then Paracel Islands. These are claimed by China and they are going for a lot of construction activity, and so far their power requirements are met through diesel generators. In future, with this floating nuclear reactors, power will be generated there itself, right? So please look into the next one. Bharat QR was launched. QR means quick response. So this Bharat quick response code was launched, and you may have a doubt who launched it. It is launched jointly by NPCI, Visa, American Express and MasterCard. And before going ahead, I would like to explain you the difference between QR as well as barcode. This is quick response code, barcode. What is the difference? Quick response code is basically the code. Please look into this picture. These are squares of black and white. It carries more information in comparison to barcode. So this is a quick response code. It carries more information in comparison to barcode, and this was launched for merchants recently. So at present, for making payments, what we are doing? We are swiping the card, and in future merchants will have this quick response code. Our smartphone will scan this quick response code, and subsequently money will be deducted from your account and will be credited to the merchant account. So if someone talks about this QR code, this was launched for merchants, and the need for this machine will be eliminated with the launch of QR code. If you have smartphone and the merchant has QR code, payment will become very simple. So if someone talks about QR code, that is launched, or you can say that will make the digital payments to the merchants cheaper. And it is the world's first nationwide interoperable payment service. Please don't forget. Right friends, ISRO successfully tested this cryogenic upper stage engine for GSLV Mark III. 2-3 points I would like to tell you. Cryogenic is basically liquid oxygen, liquid hydrogen. The experiment which the ISRO conducted is with liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen. Here normally oxygen and hydrogen are in gaseous form. To make them into liquid state, temperatures are to be reduced to -183 for oxygen, -253 for hydrogen, and reducing the temperatures to that level and subsequently managing the fuel part are the real challenges. And when the fuel and oxidizer are converted to liquid state, basically it gives more thrust for the rockets because of more mass flow of the fuel, and subsequently we can put more weight of satellites into the orbit. At present, GSLV can take up to around 2200 kg satellites, and once this cryogenic engine becomes a reality, then it can take 4000 kg satellites also. That is all about this experiment. Look into the next one. Supreme Court has introduced middle income group scheme. You may have a doubt what is meant by middle income group scheme. This is a self-supporting scheme which provides legal services to the middle income group citizens. It will provide legal services to the middle income group citizens whose gross income do not exceed rupees 7,50,000 per annum. Right here, society will be created with the Chief Justice of India as the patron-in-chief. Reliance Aerostructure Limited has made joint venture with Dassault Aviation to undertake major share of offset business. Reliance had tie-up with Dassault Aviation. Dassault Aviation belongs to France, which manufacture this Rafale fighter jets. Recently, government purchased 36 Rafale fighter jets at 7.87 billion euro, and defense contracts will have offset clause. Defense contracts will have offset clause, and this particular contract has got 50% offset clause. What is the meaning of offset clause? The meaning is for 50% of the total value of the contract, defense equipment's assembly or manufacturing or research and development has to undertake in our country, so as to give boost to the technology transfer or domestic manufacturing. This clause is being put in defense deals. So here this Rafale fighter jets deal has got 50% offset clause, and Reliance and Dassault Aviation came to an understanding for manufacturing, or you can say joint venture projects in our country under this offset clause. Right? Look into the next one. RBI has permitted multilateral and regional finance institutions to invest in masala bonds. And masala bonds are rupee denominated bonds, and Indian entities, Indian companies or corporations can raise money from foreign markets in rupee currency, but not in foreign currency like dollar. And these are debt instruments. Debt instruments means they are just like loans, nothing else. Borrowing money by Indian companies from abroad in rupee terms. That is the meaning of masala bond. And what are the advantages? Advantages are Indian currency rupee will be internationalized. Second point is it will expand Indian bond markets. Then third point is it is another way of Indian corporates accessing foreign capital. And here one important aspect is currency risk lies with the investor but not with the borrower. Right? Then salient points, please don't forget. Please don't forget International Finance Corporation, that is the arm of World Bank, that issued first masala bond, and at that time it was dubbed as Uridashi masala bond. Please don't forget. And at the same time, International Finance Corporation for the first time issued green masala bonds also. only that money is to be used for green projects. So IFC issued first masala bond. The name was Uritashi masala bond, and IFC also issued first green masala bond. And apart from these 2 points, these are normally listed and traded in London Stock Exchange. That is another important aspect. Then if you look at companies of India, HDFC became the first Indian company to issue masala bonds. And if you look at public sector companies, NTPC became the first public sector undertaking to issue masala bonds. Then Canada province, that means one state of Canada, that is British Columbia, became the first foreign government to issue masala bonds. Right? These things please don't forget. Indian Air Force has formally inducted first indigenously built airborne early warning and control system. Basically, it is the airborne radar. This radar will be placed on a carrier jet. Then subsequently, it will look for aircrafts, or you can say enemy aircrafts, enemy missiles, enemy ships. So the radar will be placed on the jet, and the name is Netra. Please don't forget. If someone talks about Netra, it is nothing but airborne early warning and control system. This is recently inducted by Indian Air Force. Please don't forget. FSSAI has constituted a panel on food fortification and nutrition. A panel on food fortification and nutrition. This was formulated by FSSAI. You may have a doubt what is meant by FSSAI. FSSAI is the food regulator in our country. That is one part. Then what is meant by food fortification? Our diet for most of the families is lacking micronutrients. Then the question is, what is meant by micronutrients? Vitamins, different types of minerals like iron, iodine, this all put together is known as micronutrients. You may have a doubt. What is the need for micronutrients? Micronutrients are essential to release enzymes, hormones. So Indian diet is lacking micronutrients. So food fortification will help in giving vitamins and minerals in food. So food fortification is talked about across the world. The meaning of food fortification is to artificially enrich food products with micronutrients like vitamins and minerals. And basically in India, underprivileged pregnant women and young children are affected badly because of micronutrients deficiency. Right? It constituted a panel on food fortification and nutrition to identify nutritional gaps in the Indian diet. And in the times to come, this food fortification may be the hotter topic. Look into the next one. India's first floating elementary school was inaugurated at a floating village in Loktak Lake. And please don't forget, questions can be asked about Loktak Lake as well as Kibul Lamjao National Park. And please don't forget, Loktak Lake is the largest freshwater lake in Northeast India. It is lifeline of Manipur. Please look into this. This is Loktak Lake. What is so special about Loktak Lake? It is so special because of the reason. Please look into this picture. There are several fumdis in the lake. What is meant by fumdi? Fumdi is nothing but floating islands. Floating islands are there which are known as fumdis, and Loktak Lake is famous for fumdis. And please don't forget, the Kibul Lamjao National Park is one of the fumdis in the lake. In the lake, or you can say it is the floating national park. So in the world, the only floating national park is Kibul Lamjao National Park. Fumdis means it is a floating island. So there are several fumdis in Loktak Lake, and this Kibul Lamjao National Park is one of the fumdis in the lake. And please don't forget, it is the only floating national park in the world. And please don't forget Sangai deer. This is specific to Kibul Lamjau National Park in Manipur. Please don't forget this also. This is Sangai deer. Look into the next one. NIO scientists stated that India's only live volcano at Barren Island in Andaman and Nicobar Islands became active again. India's only live volcano is at Barren Island. It is lying dormant for the past 150 years and it last erupted in 1991 and subsequently it is showing intermittent activity. So, if someone talks about Barren Island, it is India's only live volcano. Where is it situated? It is situated in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Please don't forget. Geologists have claimed discovery of a new geological continent, Zealandia, submerged beneath the southwest Pacific Ocean. Zealandia. And now this New Zealand, certain parts are visible, and here New Caledonia, certain parts are visible above sea, and the remaining part is below sea. And as per the scientists, or you can say geologists, this part had broken off from Antarctica about 100 million years ago. This has broken away from Antarctica around 100 million years ago, and at the same time it had broken away from Australia around 80 million years ago. And if someone talks about Zealandia, it is the new geological continent found by geologists, and 94% of it is underwater and only parts are visible. This is New Caledonia and New Zealand. These are visible above sea. TCS, Tata Consultancy Services, announced rupees 16,000 crore share buyback, the biggest in the Indian capital market. When companies are into profits, they can give dividend or they can purchase certain shares back. That is known as a share buyback. We discussed in detail in editorial discussion, and I listed out what is the difference between a dividend and share buyback. And please view editorial discussion if you want more information, or please go through these PPT slides. Chief Minister of Nagaland, Jeliong, resigned in view of the protests by tribal groups opposed to his move to hold civic polls with 33% reservation for women. We have already discussed. Article 243 states that at least 33% of the seats must be reserved for women in municipal bodies. And this is incorporated as per 74th Constitutional Amendment. And at the same time, Article 371A gives a special provision to state of Nagaland, and that says Acts of Parliament shall not apply to Nagaland in relation to religious or social practices of the Nagas. So, now there is a need for amending the constitution to make things clear. India stated that it aims to bring high-speed digital connectivity to every village by 2018. And please don't forget this Bharatnet program. Bharatnet program, previous name was National Optical Fibre Network. Now its name is Bharatnet. What is the purpose? The purpose is to bring high-speed broadband to every village in the country by 2018. And in this year's budget, 10,000 crore was allocated, and by March 2018, 1,50,000 village panchayats will be brought with high-speed broadband network, and remaining 1 lakh will be connected subsequently. You may have a doubt, where the money will come from? The money will come from Universal Service Obligation Fund, which is meant for expanding telecom services in rural areas. And this Bharatnet project is ambitious project of Government of India for connecting 2.5 lakh village panchayats with broadband, and government also plans Dizzy Gaon initiative. This Dizzy Gaon initiative is basically giving telemedicine education to the rural areas. So, once this broadband becomes a reality to village panchayats, then government's planning of DigiGaon initiative to connect villages with digital education as well as to connect villages with telemedicine will become a reality. Government plans to roll out direct benefit transfer for fertilizer subsidy from June 30. This will be given at the producer's end, and here after capturing the Aadhaar number through POS machine, then the subsidy amount will be paid to the producer of the fertilizer. Right? Please look into this. This farmer will get subsidy, and that subsidy will be paid to the manufacturer of fertilizer, and the farmer is required to pay less price, and the subsidy amount will be given to the producer, and this Aadhaar verification of the farmer is very much essential. This is incorporated, otherwise the producers may go for some malpractices to prevent that this was incorporated. And neem coated urea, please don't forget, these are the initiatives and agriculture sector initiatives, please don't forget. Around 1.5–2 years ago, government increased neem coated urea production from 35% to 100%. Now 100% can be neem coated urea. And next is neem coated urea releases nitrogen slowly, so which ultimately helps in the fertility of soil. So it results in more yields with less usage of urea per hectare. Right? So this is about neem coated urea. Then the last one is 7 exoplanets were found, and this is the largest collection of Earth-like planets in the habitable Goldilocks zone of a star. Recently, 7 exoplanets. You may have a doubt, what is meant by exoplanets? These are the planets revolving not around sun. These are the planets revolving around some other star like sun. That's why they are called exoplanets. And if you want more about these exoplanets and Goldilocks zone, please listen to editorial discussion on Monday, that is 27th February. Right friends, let us conclude today's why and how, and this last issue I will discuss in editorial discussion. And with this, let us conclude why and how. Have a nice day. Thank you.